It's such a nice day today for some reason. Like
It was, yeah, when I opened the door. It dried up from, I would assume, the early night pours. No, sorry, late night pours, rather.
yeah.
Because it's been raining a lot here. So much so that I really do think it's going to snow in December this year. I think we're going to have a white Christmas. Do you think so?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because it'll either snow in December or in February, and there's not really an in between.
Well, guess what? We're so ahead in schedule that we'll find out, and then we'll let you know by next episode. That's so funny. We're so ahead of schedule. This is great. Oh yeah. Hello everybody, on Education Station here. I'm with Arthur and I have Zach with me. Yes, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Arthur. I am on Education Station. I'm here with our Ned podcast. This is a great time to be alive right now.
Dude, it's so interesting because whenever okay, so to break the fourth wall a little bit, I know.
This is what I strive to not do, Zach.
Well, okay, so I'm leaving for a trip to Hawaii, and so we kind of had to prep the episodes for when I'm gone, and so we've just had, like, what was it? We had 2 days in a row, and then we skipped a day, and then now we're here.
Correct.
And so I'm getting my uned fix before I leave, and I'm really, really excited because, that's going to be a grand old time.
Yes, because you got to talk about a lot of things before you go.
Yeah, last episode was really, really fun because we just got to talk about, like, oh yeah, how do you prepare for when you travel and all of that kind of stuff, and just kind of talking about it a lot more.
And what else? Oh, and presents and stuff.
Yeah.
That was good. Still haven't gotten anything good, but hopefully I have by the time this episode goes out, because it would probably be Christmas by then. Yeah.
I kind of want to do a Christmas special if we can.
Oh shit, that'd be tough. We could try it. Well, we got.
Well,
I haven't really planned out what episode. We'll figure it out.
I don't know.
We'll see.
It would be fun.
If one episode we come up in Christmas hats, then you'll know it worked. If not, then it's whatever.
If not, then it'll be a New Year's special or whatever.
I wanted to talk about something, but I forgot. Fuck. Oh, fuck. I've done bad interview things. Oh shit. I forgot. All right, your turn, Zach.
Fuck it.
Your turn until I figure. Oh yeah. Jackson came over. I mentioned that he came over the other day. Shout out Jackson, by the way, if you're listening. Otherwise, he's busy welding his arm shut. And
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works. And he came by and he fixed my guitar strings that I mentioned that snapped the other day.
Yay.
Yeah, and it was cool. I was like, hey, what's good? And he's like, hey, what's good? And I was like, hey, if it's not a bother, like, when you want to come down? Because I was going to ask you, because you offered, and that's cool, but you also live a lot further.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, I mean, he's just like down the street, so let's just see what's up. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. Well, I am out of town, but I'll be back. I was like, okay, cool. Word. And then he came, and then it worked. I was like, cool. And then at the same time, it worked. It just worked out that he came by because we got to talk about a keyboard he wanted to build.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun. And we get to do some fun things. We get to go into a group buy, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure that everything worked out well. Usually I'd have a bit more preparation to make sure things like layout works and keycaps and stuff will fit on this keyboard, because we bought a certain keycap set that is made for a keyboard. Like an already existing keyboard.
Yeah.
There is a bunch of extra keys, like it's a full kit, but I didn't really check to make sure the kitting technically quote unquote worked. So I'm a bit scared, but I'm pretty sure it should be fine. So it should be fine.
I think it'll be fine.
Hopefully it's fine. No, but it's a fun board. It's QK75. It's a QWERTY keyboard. It's a keyboard, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's known for being a really good budget keyboard, which sounds odd coming from because this is kind of a 300 plus ish build. So it sounds like, oh, what do you mean budget keyboard? Well, the thing about keyboards is that, I think I've mentioned this before, but it's really have gotten a lot cheaper these days.
Yeah, for sure.
To get really into it, but not just get into it, but get into it with cheaper parts ish relatively, but get really good quality out of it, even in the lower end. So this is like all aluminum. It has a big fat ass weight on it and a copper weight inside too. It's very cool. But it's at what I think we picked the one that ended up being a setup that was 180, I think, or 170 or 180, and then after shipping, it's 210. That's where it gets you, right? The shipping.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a nice price, and then shipping comes along. So,
yeah, it's really funny because when I think about the keyboard that I have that you and I built for me for my birthday, you know, I'm super content with that keyboard. Like I'm totally fine with ride or dying until, you know, the wheels fall off or the keycaps break or whatever. You know, it's one of those things where I'm not really super particular about it, and that's also because I haven't really been in the enthusiast space for very long.
Sure.
Or like, you know, I haven't really done a whole lot of research about it because I know myself, and I know that once I go down that rabbit hole, then it's going to be bad for my wallet.
yeah, I mean, or you go down what basically Jackson is probably going to do and just have one really nice keyboard. Oh, not that you don't have a nice keyboard, but you know, it is on the budgeter side and we end up doing budget things, but you know, you could even go a lot cheaper than what we did.
Yeah.
You know, to get like an all aluminum keyboard and stuff. And maybe even if you wait a little bit, you can get even more cheaper. So I don't know. It's just things to think about. He already has been rocking with a keyboard that I basically just gave him. So it's like, all right, I'll just do a keyboard build now.
Yeah, I've been talking to him about like how he should, you know, build a custom keyboard or have you build one, because like every time he comes to my house and touches my keyboard, even though it's not even like near the upper echelon of custom keyboards, he's like, bro, this is so fucking nice. And
Yeah,
I'm like, I know.
Yeah, because just a little bit of elbow grease makes even a really budget keyboard good. And that's what I love, because all right, now, before last episode, we shook off the keyboard build stream because it's really long and winded. Now I'm going to remind me to throw it back for the thing, all right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it now. Because I really liked that keyboard, like genuinely. As one of the first keyboards I built, I genuinely liked it a lot. Like a lot. And it just used really basic parts. But for some reason the sound fucking slapped. So I really like it a lot. And he came by and he even said, I want a keyboard that kind of feels like Zach's. I was like, oh, well, we can do that. But it's gonna feel even better.
Yeah, see, that's gonna be a dangerous game. Like whenever I come here, I try very hard to not touch any of the keyboards or anything like that, because I know that I'm gonna be like, bro, can we please build one like this? And it's just gonna turn into a thing. And like when
You don't know that. You could just be like Brady said, and you get one really nice keyboard and you never go any further. You can have self-restraint. I am fighting that right now. However, I am, you know, I've kind of how do I say? I've basically kind of hit that wall, especially after I bought Kawaii, which is the $500 keyboard, the one that's based off of the VTuber I like.
Yeah.
I basically kind of hit that one. As soon as I bought that, I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I know this because the keyboard that we did for Jackson, that's the one I was going to enter that group by. And then I stopped myself. I was like, wait, no, bad. That being said, I did buy the Tiger. I don't have it with me. It's down there because it's disassembled right now. But the Tiger 80, which is 75%, because I wanted a nice tank keyless. If I had to choose, I would have picked a nice one of those boys, but just wasn't really in the time, and I was out of that group buy, so I was like, fuck. And I also didn't want to spend that much money. See, so it's possible. I'm building a bunch of keyboards, but my fix is that I build it for other people, right?
Yeah.
But for you got to build a keyboard, and then you'll get to build a keyboard again to satiate that want to do a project like that again, and then that'll be it. Hopefully, right? That's the thing. That's the idea,
yeah.
Right? But you're also more content because it's not like your thing. I mean, you enjoy it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's your thing, right?
Yeah.
So you probably will be okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that I'll be fine with the keyboard that I have now. And honestly, the only thing that I can feasibly imagine, like me feeling a need to replace it in any way, is if I ended up like having an office or something like that, where like I have a keyboard, like, you know, I don't want to use a stupid Dell keyboard at work or whatever. And so I can imagine myself bringing that keyboard over there and then building myself a really nice one.
Oh yeah. I think about it a lot. If I ever end up in an office space that isn't like some sort of, I don't know, I imagine, right, there's like two different types of offices.
Yeah.
There's one office that's more corporate and works on normal like business things, whether depending on, we were talking about going into careers and stuff.
Yeah.
So let's not even say for editing. Let's just say a career of which pertains an office space that you will go into. If you bring in a mechanical keyboard, it's actually going to be hated. Even if it's not clicky, because them shits are still loud.
I mean,
but
there's a but,
there's a but, and it's a big but.
and I cannot lie.
That keyboard over there that nobody could see over there. That's fun. Tiger 80 as well. Got some Loop SP Meteor stars, and it feels like a nice mechanical keyboard, and it's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
It's not silent switches, but it ended up being really quiet because of the way we built it. And I was like, ooh, and I kind of liked it.
That's pretty good.
And I'm smacking on it, and it's not incredibly loud. That being said, I did a bunch of things to try and make it louder, but I think the switches, the way we use them, were not that loud. But it's possible to just get a not very loud config and still get the mechanical feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Without having to do those stupid silent switches. No, that's a lie. I don't think silent switches are stupid, but I do think they're a little silly, I guess, because why would you defeated the purpose?
Yeah.
You're halfway there.
Living on a prayer.
Not even. Well, maybe on a prayer that it'll sound and feel good.
Yeah.
But you didn't get the sound part. You just got the feel good part. But maybe you didn't, because the reason why they're silent is because there's a little plastic mushy bit. So it makes it all. You know, things that nobody cares about, but I care about because I want people to have nice keyboards.
Yeah, and it is really fun. And ever since I've gone to linear switches, the keyboard that I have has linear switches, and they are fucking fantastic. Ever since I've gone to linear switches, I don't think I ever want to go back to like tactile switches.
You like them. You get used to them.
Yeah, and it makes so much sense to where it's like, you push the key and then it goes down to the bottom, and then you
put your left foot in.
Put your left foot out. You push the button, put it to push it all the way down to the bottom, and then key press things happen. Or wherever the actuation is, instead of having like an actual physical bump that you have to surpass for the key switch
That
to
being said, after trying some really tactile ones, like the Holy Pandas that I got to use for my Gintama build, which was a lot of fun. Shout out to Jack Aulas, different Jack. It was okay. I've learned that I have weak fingies. My fingies are very weak, Zach. I've learned this.
I can't relate.
Oh, yeah, I know, because you're a rock climbing boy. No, I've learned this because after using really light switches over my time, over the years, I've used a lot of light switches, right? And because of that, after tried using literally, so they were operating grams with the spring weight and the bottom out force. A bunch of things that doesn't matter, but just know it's a couple. Just keep in mind a couple numbers, okay? The switches you have are about, I don't know, maybe 60 grams, maybe 60, maybe plus or minus a few grams, about 60 grams, but it's still pretty light. So maybe even like 58 or so. The switches that I've been maining, the KTT Roses, are about like 50 grams to 45-ish, 50 grams. And
super light.
Pretty light, right? One time I did a build with these switches called Duroc Lavenders. They come with, I believe, 65 grams, right? For a bottom out force and stuff like that. And I used it for this build, for Ant, shout out Ant. And I was like, damn, these switches are heavy. Hopefully he likes them. And he gets aboard, right? And he goes, oh, I love the switches. They feel so nice. And I don't know if it's true, but I think they're lighter. And I'm like, lighter? Are you kidding me? I was flexing my damn muscles to push each key.
Yeah.
Maybe not like that, but I was like, damn. I've learned that I've crippled my fingies because of my light switch uses.
Yeah.
With so many of my switches, especially in the budget, no, not in the budget end, that's a lie, but I've been using a lot of ACO switches and a lot of KTT switches and a lot of JWIC switches, and they're really light. And I'm like, damn, I've crippled myself.
Honestly, I think the next keyboard that I'm going to build is going to have heavier keys or like heavier switches than that.
Are you one who types like how do I say? Harsh type, like a harsh typist, like you you're really smacking on the keys because I'm like I touch type. I like barely oftentimes probably don't even bottom out when I type.
So I am not a super heavy,
yeah. So
I'm not a super heavy tip tap typer, but I do end up finding myself doing a lot of accidental presses just because, like, you know, my hands kind of accidentally graze on keys every once in a while, and so
your big man fingers, Zach.
Yeah,
you have tall boy fingers.
Get big man hands.
Big man rock climbing, tall 6'7.25" fingers. Large.
But yeah, the accidental presses are something that, I mean, I've gotten used to at this point, and like I can type pretty okay. But yeah, that's definitely something that if heavier keys would make it so that was less frequent, then I don't think like the force of pressing the keys would bother me that much.
No, you're correct. When I use my clayboard, which I'm going to dismantle, I do type a lot faster. Rest in peace. I know. I do type a lot faster as well with the heavier switches, or rather more accurate. I'm also really bad at accuracy. I type really fast, but that's because I'm even faster at backspacing. Like my typing flow is I'm expecting myself to make mistakes, so I'm prepared to backspace spam. Or I'm like I can control shift and then left, like to highlight the whole damn word and backspace. I do it in like a millisecond.
I'm pretty sure if you do control and then backspace, then you'll delete the whole word.
Yes, you're correct. But I got used to holding shift as well. I added an extra key because then I can do multiple. But you're right. Or you just control, but then you don't see a visual. It's crazy, Zach. I'm crazy. I'm a crazy person. Do you use caps lock? Like, do you ever find yourself using caps lock?
Literally never.
Even if you're going to do all caps, or do you hold shift?
I think the only occasion that I ever use caps lock is if I'm writing a sentence that is all uppercase. Otherwise, like, I'm not going to turn on caps lock for like 2 letters and then turn it off.
No, I was curious about that because I thought I do the same. I never use caps lock. Even if I'm doing a whole damn sentence, my pinky is on shift.
Yeah.
Right? And there's 2 shifts. So I was like, what does caps lock do? What is the existence of caps lock? I know this is a really weird conversation, but I really want to talk about this because I'm passionate about it. I'm not that passionate about it, but it's interesting. So Brady got me into turning caps lock into function. So the function key that's like in the bottom right of your the right of your space bar, you know, to do extra commandy boys and stuff like that. And I've learned that having caps lock as function, you can do a lot more keys like with one hand. Especially if you're someone who uses the F row a lot, and on a 65% keyboard or a 60% keyboard, to get to the F row, F1, 2, 2, 3, 4, those ones, you have to hold function and press the 1, 2, 3, 4 or whatever. But that ends up being a 2-hand job.
Yeah.
Which is not good only in this scenario, but good in other scenarios. So if you hold caps lock with like your pinky, then you can activate those other keys or the number of keys with your fingers. So it's like I know it doesn't make sense, but I've gotten so used to it, I can't not use a function in that area. I have another keyboard over there that isn't VIA compatible. Yours isn't, but it's okay. So you probably can't change it. But something to think about if you ever want a keyboard. But
just saying, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Just wink, nudge, nudge. Just winking, nudge, nudge. But the function is in the normal place where every other keyboard is, but I just can't use it because my brain hurts every time. So it's really funny. But I've gotten so used to it that I just leave it like that. And I ship my, before I send the keyboard out to people, I use the keyboard for 5 to 6 days to make sure that everything works fine. And in those 5 to 6 days, I program it so that way caps lock is function, right? So then I'm just like, okay, cool. And I might forget, and then I'll ship it off. And then people are like, hey, caps lock doesn't work. I'm like, oh, cool. No worries. Here's why. This and that, this and that. Oh, okay. I'm just going to turn it back to caps lock. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then this has happened to every single person, Zach. They're like, oh, I use caps lock. I'm like, you do? Yeah, like all the time. I use it instead of shift to capitalize my, what? What do you mean? Like, even for a sentence, like the first letter of the sentence, yeah, I just enable it and then do it and then and then disable it. I'm like,
are you okay?
Are you good? But no, maybe we're not good, Zach, because everybody does that.
That's fucking weird.
Am I? See, okay, I thought I was crazy. Thank you, Zach. I think I need you. There we go. No, you couldn't quite get it on both cameras, but
Wait. No. Oh god.
you're not gonna get it. That was tragedy.
Where did my pop filter go?
That's a good question. Where did it go? Now you can see all the janky rubber bands that are on the
We're just not gonna look at my camera for a second.
Don't look at his camera. Okay, cool. But I found it very odd that was a thing. And maybe I'm just crazy, Zach. But then I think about it, and I'm like, well, I guess that's just what makes us unique. I guess as human beings.
Yeah.
Some people have pigeon-toed feet. Other people use caps lock, like unironically, Zach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a difference.
I mean, you know, I always say different strokes for different folks. The only thing that I question is if you would be able to.
You know, this is a fun topic. What are some things that you do that you thought or you think is what people normally do, but apparently it's not? That being said, when I say normal, I'm just going to say like a general population type thing, not to generalize, not to do anything of that. We're just having fun here.
The first thing that came to mind was a really weird one. Like I wipe my butt with my left hand.
With your left hand, even though you're right-handed?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's fair, though. That's something that I would account for. Yeah. I would say that.
Because, you know, got phone in one hand.
That's fair. I usually swap. Like I put the phone on the table or wherever.
Bro, I'm just scrolling through my Instagram timeline.
I mean, that's maximizing. Exactly. This is what we call min-maxing. Min-maxing your time.
I'm trying to think of other stuff that I do that's weird.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think of as well. But I know for a fact there's a lot. But it's one of those things where I find out and then I kind of forget about it. But I know I'm sure I have some. Like, let's see. Oh, man, this is hard, actually. Maybe we should have prepared and made this a scripted podcast.
When do we ever prepare?
What is something that we do or that you do? And feel free to leave a comment as well if you're interested.
Do you wipe your butt with your left hand?
Maybe you don't have to. I mean, I don't know if you'd like to. Just don't even refer to the question. Just say yes or no. And then we would know. Just say, hey, this guy said yes, this guy said no. And like, why are people just saying yes or no in the comment section? Oh, don't worry. We know.
We know because people watched 22
minutes.
Yeah, 22 minutes.
22. Ooh. What are some things that you do that you thought was normal? Or generalization wise in this certain scenario, normal? Based on a general population of which you believe that things are normal. Hi, I'm normal. Hi, how are you?
Oh, man. That's actually such a hard question because a lot of times it doesn't end up like people don't point it out to me.
That's fair, yeah.
It's just like I'll notice it. Like, I mean, it's interesting because
I use my middle finger a lot. Like for pointing, for grabbing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do a lot. And then whenever I do it, people get mad. Like, oh, that's the middle finger. I'm like, who the fuck cares? Am I pointing it at you? No, I'm using it to grip things because it's your strongest finger other than your thumb.
Right.
So I'm going to use my middle finger and I use it to point at things a lot. I'm like, oh, it's that over there or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't do that. My dad hates it. Don't do that. I'm like, what? It's obvious I'm not implying such meaning. Like, it's pretty obvious.
I mean, I do have some interesting like rock climber habits.
Oh, sure.
Like, you know, I'll grab onto something, like a box or something, and instead of like holding it on a corner, I'll pinch it like that, and then just like hold on for dear life.
With like a cardboard box or some sort of box, or
like a table. Like I won't use like easy ways to hold it.
You won't like grab it from like both ways or whatever.
No,
you'll just kind of grip it essentially.
Yeah, just grip it and rip it.
Whoa, that's pretty metal.
Yeah, or like, I don't know. It's really interesting because of the hobbies that I have. I'm very aware of like what my body is doing. Like whenever I'm like trying to like maneuver around my dogs. Like I'm very spatially aware with my feet because, rock climbing and all that kind of stuff.
I'm not that, so I am terrible on my feet. Like I do not have good foot-eye coordination. I'm not good at the things. I'm not good at doing the feet things without looking. And that's evident if you ever watch me kick a fucking ball. I was gonna say I enjoy soccer, but that's a lie, 'cause soccer's boring. But I've tried, kickball, obviously. Played a lot of kickball in our time, Zach.
Oh, yeah,
especially
yeah.
in middle school, because that was like our thing. Usually middle schools, or well, at least here around this area, they got a sport.
Kickball tournaments.
Yeah, it was kickball, and I don't know what the other ones were. I know Pleasant Valley was like ultimate frisbee, which is fun, but
We weren't that cool.
we weren't that cool. Imagine being, we're the school that did ultimate frisbee. What a cool thing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Good for them. But yeah, ours was kickball, and it was still a lot of fun. I couldn't kick for shit. I mean, in my middle school days, I wasn't very athletic, but I still liked going out.
Yeah.
I like running and playing football and stuff like that. I just wasn't athletic very much, but I enjoyed running and stuff. So I touched grass, Zach, even though I was kind of a chonkier kid who liked playing video games and Naruto running and stuff like that,
Yeah.
And the hand seals and stuff,
Yeah.
I still enjoyed touching grass.
Right.
Believe it or not. I know it's hard to tell. Guy like me.
Guy like me.
Dude, bro, man like me. But I go and kick that damn kickball, Zach, and I'm like, I have like 2 left feet. It's incredible. It's incredible. But that being said, I've gotten really good at running because of track, but I don't know if that counts because I've just established a form, which I mean, I guess that's kind of is how it is in real life anyways. But man, I'm bad at my feet. But this is the point I'm trying to make. Jesus, this is a long-winded point. When I'm like at work or something, I realize I maneuver around things as well, very oddly. In a way, as if you would think I'm like acting or I'm not dancing. It's not the right word, but it's really exaggerated movements.
Yeah.
Like incredibly exaggerated movements. Like if I'm going to move past someone, I'll kind of do like I might do like a spin, or instead of like let's say there's a person right here to my left, your right. And I'm going to walk past them, and I may turn like this, right? Like, oh, excuse me. I turn like this the other way and do a fucking 360. Oh, my fault. And then keep going. Or at work, sometimes when the floor is moppy, it's slippery. So everyone's like being careful. And I'm just sliding around. like I have like Heelys on and shit.
Yeah.
Things like that. And
I
then
got kicked out of a Walmart because I wore my Heelys.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. There was a kid wearing Heelys the other day at the mall when I was working again. I was like, oh, nice, bro. You got the Heelys? He's like, yeah, I got the Heelys. And he was like fucking zipping around.
Yeah,
Remember when Heelys were banned in our school?
I do remember that.
Dude, that was tough. That was elementary school, I think. I want to say.
That was back when I had a pair of Heelys. Well, okay.
To be fair, I never learned how to use Heelys. I was so scared. But I had them. I just never put the wheels in. I was too scared.
I have a pair at my house
Hell yeah.
that fit me.
Oh, Zach's Heely arc has begun.
Bro, it's already begun. I just told you.
Go.
I just told you I got kicked out of a Walmart for it.
Oh, recently.
Yeah.
Shit. I talking about when I was like 10.
Yeah, no, this was like last summer.
Why wouldn't they kick you out? You're a grown ass man. Wearing
know.
Heelys. It's not like you're gonna cause ruckus.
I mean,
You're a
I
grown
was
ass man.
Okay. In their defense, I was going mock Jesus, like and just hauling ass.
Okay, that's fair. But come on now. It's not like you're hauling ass and then just like knocking things down the shelf. Screw you, capitalism. Like, no, you're not doing that,
Yeah.
as kids do. 10-year-olds knocking down the shelves to fight the cause. No. You were just ripping.
Yeah, that was a really funny time. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of more stuff that I do that's weird. I mean, I do a lot of really weird things. Mm-hmm. Like, I think...
Yeah, I know. Zach normally Naruto runs. I've seen it. It's crazy.
No, I just... there will be times where I'll just run around like a cartoon character. Like, just imagine like Waluigi running around. Like, sometimes I'll
guess... Yeah. You're just kind of flailing around and shit. But you got long limbs and stuff, and you don't practice like forms, So,
Yeah.
of course that's going to happen. That's how people run.
Oh, no, I do it on purpose.
Oh,
like,
you do it on purpose.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Like the...
Yeah. And I'll like...
Yeah, I'm the main character.
In something. Yeah. Or like, God, there's like so many weird things that I do.
Speaking of running, I guess I should mention this because I mentioned track and stuff like that. I still run with perfect track form.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it looks goofy as hell. Like in real life, I always get criticized for it. And I know one time, right? This was a long time ago, but this is a good example. So I was at Disneyland, right? Maybe 17, 18. I don't remember what it was. Actually, yeah, I would say 17 probably. I was with my cousin Brandon again, who I built the computer for. We were at Disneyland and we were leaving, and we had to go back to our hotel, and usually you take like a shuttle bus or whatever, or not, maybe not the shuttle, just a bus or whatever, right? To go from the venue, Disneyland, Disneyland venue or whatever, back to your hotel or whatever, right? Me and Brandon had to take a shit, like incredibly bad. We needed to go.
Oh no!
So what do you think we did?
You ran.
Oh, we ran. We ran because we calculated the hotel is not that far.
Right.
Like we're at some whatever the Hilton or whatever the fuck it is, like the really nice or the mainstream nice one or whatever, right next to Disneyland. It's not that far, but it's a run.
Yeah.
Mind you, I am not a distance runner. Everybody remember that. I am a 100-meter runner. And even after 100 damn meters, one straight, I'm fucking out. Because that's how much I lack stamina. Right? Oh, Zach, we fucking booked it because damn, Zach, when you need to take a shit, you break human limits.
Yeah.
To get to the toilet.
The urge to poop ends up superseding any type of physical discomfort.
Oh yeah. It just doesn't exist anymore. You've reached a point of peak human when you need to take a shit. You know, when the turtle head peeks out, you gotta go. You know what I mean? You know.
Then I started running.
And then I started running. Boy, did I run! And I was booking. Knife hands, 90-degree angle, knees up, everything. And Brandon, he was losing it. I was like, what's wrong? I'm trying to fucking go. And he was like, you look like a fucking idiot. Middle of California, like 10 p.m. You look like a fucking idiot. I'm like, I don't care. I need to take a shit. And I still run like that. Even when I'm at work, well, back when I was working, I am going to take a shift tomorrow. Oh, I'm burpy today. I apologize. Oh, God. Okay. Every time I think I mentioned this before, the way you get into our work, there is no entrance in the front. You have to to go from the back, which is like these multiple halls of emergency exits and stuff. And it's a long straight. Boy, if I booked that shit, Zach, so fast.
Knife hands.
Knife hands, Zach. High knees, because my shoes are still slippery from the inside mopping shit. So if I don't do the high knees, toe heel type bullshit, I'm gonna slip. So I go so fast that I don't stop myself when the turn hits. I just jump and I kick the damn wall.
I just imagine. Hi-ya!
Yeah, I do. That's me, Zach. I'm the guy in the picture. And then I walk out the door, and then I pop one of these. What like you're hitting the relay, the straight or the curve, to go back to the. I do that, Zach. Well, that part's ironic, but but I actually am running like this unironically because I'm fast, Zach. Why would I not do it?
And it's efficient.
It's so drilled into my brain that I cannot run like a normal person without feeling awkward. Instead, I have to look awkward. But that's what I do. That's one fun one that I guess I do.
I mean, marching band has kind of ruined the way that I walk with people. Like, I'll always stay in step with people. I haven't done marching band in like 5 years.
In step as in just following their pace? Or like...
following their pace and like...
Their footsteps?
Their footsteps,
the same
like...
feet?
The same feet, yeah.
That's not that bad. I mean, I would say it's better than not, because it's kind of cool to be, coordinate with their feet and such.
But I do it subconsciously. Like, I don't even think about it.
Well, exactly. That's a good thing.
Very weird. But yeah, there's so many weird little things that I just can't even think of off the top of my head.
We'll think about it. Let's talk about something else then, and we'll think about it. So recently, I started this show called Mob Psycho.
Interesting.
You don't know what it is, but that's okay. It's funny. I think I talk about it because there's 3 seasons now. The 3rd season is airing this season. It's airing right now. I just started it last night. I'm so sorry. I'm so burpy.
You're like, I'm caught up now.
I'm caught up now. No, I'm not. I did slam a whole season though, which I never do. People who know me know I don't binge watch shows because I don't have that type of energy. Alas, I binged this damn show because it was really good. And also I was like, fuck it, why not? It's late. And like, it's fine. And then all of a sudden it was 5 a.m. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta sleep. Otherwise, I'm gonna oversleep for Annette today. But it's funny to think about. It's a shonen, right? It's classic things, fighting some sort of curses, yokai, demon type bullshit with magical superpowers or whatever the fuck.
Some badassery.
But it's really good because the art style is very odd and is something that's put people off a lot. If you want to look it up and see it yourself, it's very cartoonish, I guess, if you will.
Can you remind me of the name?
Yeah, Mob Psycho. If you type mob, you'll probably find it. And it's very fascinating because the animation is incredible. And it's so weird to think about Mob Psycho watching it or starting it today because it's a show that it's not an old show necessarily. It's like 2000, I believe. Mob Psycho 100, I believe, is 2016. You can just click like images or whatever. Hopefully we don't see a spoiler. It should be okay. It's fine. Yeah, it's a very. Oh yeah, I forgot we had this one. It's very fun. It's kind of it's so odd because the animation choices they use is like not symbolic. I don't want to say symbolic, but they do it in a way where they don't necessarily take themselves too seriously, but it's because of that they can stretch their imagination really far. And when you see the sequences for the fights, you're like, holy shit, they're like incredible. It's like incredible. So it's very cool. And it's made by Studio Bones, same people who did Josie.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. So, and it's just odd to think because this is such a not old anime, but it's an anime I saw as I was beginning to watch more anime. I'm like, oh, that's a cool one. I should watch it soon. And now it's 2022, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'll get a start on now. But it's really cool. And if it's kind of not that I've watched One Punch Man, but it's along that idea.
I have watched a little bit of One Punch Man, and
they're
the art
style,
style,
I think the art style, the fighting, and the way it's I guess not portrayed. I would say portrayed. The flow of it, I guess, imagines me of it makes me imagine this is probably how One Punch Man goes. Again, not that I've watched it, but that's what I imagine.
So I'm not trying to be rude and be a bad streamer, but I'm gonna write the name of this show down.
Oh sure, yeah, there we go. Yeah, my friend and coworker, she was like, "You gotta watch it because it's my favorite show," and I'm like, "All right, I'll watch it." And then that was 2022, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll start watching it now." But it's really good. It's one of those shows where I don't know. Again, it's like One Punch Man. It is what it is. You know, it's like. It's fun to watch, and the animation is really good. I'm not necessarily incredibly emotionally invested, but that being said, people have told me season 2 is wild. So I'm excited. I'm doing my best to watch more anime. I told myself I wouldn't go back previous seasons because there's just be no way to get back into anime if that's what I did.
Yeah.
But I told myself I would watch Mob Psycho. So because it's technically it is airing right now, technically.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sure, why not? I'll give it a go. So I'm glad I did. I got some other ones to do, but. Yeah, I probably won't jump into season 2 immediately. There's more I want to watch, but yeah, it's fun. I'm watching anime again, Zach. I'm doing my best.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Started with Bocchi the Rock, the best anime of the season.
Still haven't started it yet, but I need.
It's
to.
okay. It's okay. The recent episode, just the last week's episode. Oh my goodness gracious, it's so good.
Was it very good?
Oh, it's so good. It's like. Oh man, I really wanted to say it. No, I will say it. It is. They did another performance, and it is still just as consistent.
Damn,
it's so good. It's so good, and it's so precious to my heart. Everything about it is like it's just a normal ass, just boring, cute girl slice of life, but it's not just that. It hits my heart in the ways that it just does what it needs to do, and I just scratched myself with this thing, and it kind of hurt. But goddamn, it's so cute. I love it, and it's so wholesome. It makes my heart so happy. It's like any sort of anxiety and stress I had just disappears while watching it. It's so good.
it's really cool that like we can have the musician's perspective on like the performances in shows and everything like that. And my brain immediately goes back to like the show performances in Angel Beats and also Your Lie in April, because it blows my mind when I talk to people and they're like, I've watched a couple shows, you know, like I've watched like Jujutsu Kaisen and Your Lie in April, and I'm like, fucking what?
Yeah, I know. Like, what?
Why?
Well, Jackson's like, I want to watch Your Lie in April. And I'm like, no. Well, I mean, he can if he'd like to. It's fine. At this point.
I feel like that's kind of like Clinad, where it's like you need to be mentally prepared to like get your world rocked before you can like dive into it. And I wasn't ready. And it still hurts a little bit.
Zach, I thought I was ready for Clinad. Nobody is ready for Clinad.
See, that just makes
Don't you dare compare it to Your Lie in April. I love that show so dear in my heart, so much that there's some people that don't like it because it's normal, and I love it so much. But Clinad is not for the faint of heart. Clinad is for people who is ready to openly express depression.
Bro, same. But yeah, I mean, you know, I look at Your Lie in April and I just think, man, I don't know, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to rewatch that show and enjoy it in the same way that I did the first watch. And I remember I was rewatching the first episode because I was like, I'm ready. I wasn't.
It's only, I guess it's been a year now at this point, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could, I think, because when I rewatched it, because I rewatched it with you. Well, no. Wait. Yes, I did.
Yeah,
I rewatched it with you after however God knows how many years before since the first time I watched it, which was the last time I watched it, or rather the last time I watched it, which was the first time I watched it. And I mean, I honestly didn't think I was ready because I was like, fuck, man, I don't know if I want to go through this again. That being said, I decided, okay, I'll read the manga. And I read the manga. It was a masterpiece. And I said, okay, I can do it. And yes, it was really sad, but it's worth it because I had mentioned, you know, in that previous episode, fucking episode 5 or whatever the fuck it was, that, you know, when you rewatch something, you already kind of know what's going to happen. So you pay attention to different details and, you know, not necessarily Easter eggs, but just details you didn't pay attention to before.
Yeah.
And because of that, you get a much different experience. And it's a lot, I would say it's a lot more fun in a different way, where it's still sad. Like I cried still, like a lot. You would think, oh, I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to cry. But I'm not going to cry. You're going to cry, man.
You're like, instead of crying in the last 2 episodes, I started crying after the 3rd episode.
I just cried as soon as the first 5 seconds started. No, it's still really good. I recommend rewatching it. I don't know. I don't know if it was with another person, by yourself, but it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I mean, you can watch it with Jackson if that's the vibe.
Bro, I don't know. It's interesting because like watching sad boy anime with you is entirely different than watching it with like anybody else, just for the sheer fact that like you were like my anime Sherpa. And so when I think about watching any anime, the first person that comes into my mind is you. And it's kind of like, oh yeah, you know, I'm totally fine with bawling and just.
Well, so you don't want to bawl your eyes out with the homies, or like
no, probably not.
Yeah, exactly. It's okay. I'm the same way. This is why I don't usually like watching anime with other people. Not that I didn't like watching it with you, but in general, if I were to watch like say a new show or something, or if I'm going to binge something I know is going to be truly sad, like Violet Evergarden, I want to be tucked in my bed, blankets and everything, and my phone like this. And I'm going, you know, that's when I can't ugly cry with the homies, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't, I can't, I physically cannot. I don't think I can get that. I mean, I might cry still. I may shed a tear, but I'm not going to ugly cry. And I want to ugly cry. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm here to lose myself in the moment.
You made me lose my train of thought because I just immediately went to Eminem. Yeah. I mean, oh, dude, Violet Evergarden was so good. I fucking love that show. it really is interesting because like I look at those shows and I still get that same type of like emotional reaction that I did when I was watching it. Like I don't know, just like the sinking feeling like in the pit and like your heart, you're just you know.
You know, I really think you should watch Butch the Rock. Let me explain, right? I know. Oh, nothing's talking about Butch the Rock yet. Listen, right? The reason is because at this point you've watched a handful of anime. You've watched anime that you've picked yourself to watch. But the one thing you haven't chosen yet is a slice of life, specifically a cute girls quote unquote cute girls doing cute things slice of life. And I think it'd be a fun experience because it's a little more mundane. It's a little more. That being said, Bochi's a little different. It's everything except mundane, but mundane in the sense that there isn't necessarily a direct like drama filled storyline. It's more of just like there isn't just this is a clear point A to point B, even if it may be detailed. This is not like Demon Slayer, point A and point B is made.
Yeah.
Am going to kill Michael Jackson. Basically, and let me rephrase that before that gets used against me. Am going to kill Muzan Jackson. Right? That's point A to point B. That's fine. That's just, I'd say that's pretty standard, as far as storytelling goes. But or just slice of this genre of slice of life, it's just point A, and a point B may be detailed, but it's more about the journey of which everything happens. And you can say that for everything else, but everything that like that drama, romance, comedy, everything is more the meat of it is like outwards.
Yeah.
It's just more the journey, the adventure starts here, and you just see what happens, like what partakes, I guess. I mean, rather than meeting an end goal.
I think Origaru was kind of.
I would say that, but that's like an anomaly because I was like, there was an end goal. And that has got squashed by like episode 10. You're the owner of the dog. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then that was it. And then 2 more seasons afterwards. Like, oh shit, nice. But
it did kind of morph into a slice of life near the end, and that's coming from someone who hasn't actually watched like a true slice of life. Sure.
I would consider a slice of life, but it was more of a drama.
Yeah, like a rom-com.
Yeah, like a rom-com drama type vibe. But
rom-com drama.
Rom-com dram. There's a
drom-com.
Oh, I like that. I like that. But I think it'd be fun because the reason why, right?
A rom-drom?
Oh, that one's pretty good too. I like that. Is because you were talking about like getting like your line April and stuff, getting that emotion out of you.
Yeah.
And you would find it pretty good. I think you would find it interesting that a show like Bocchi the Rock, for example, can get that emotion out of you as well. Even though there isn't necessarily a formulated make you cry moment.
Yeah.
I think you can still probably cry to this show because it's a different type of cry. I mentioned that after I had watched Clannad, though I had no anime was able to make me ugly cry again. I even watched Angel Beats and I didn't do it.
Dude, okay, I'm sorry to interrupt, but...
No, go ahead.
I think there was something so magical about Angel Beats. And we're talking about a show that came out, 11 years ago at this point. Just the idea of it was just so good. And that's the reason why I was able to binge watch it in one night. Because, like... I was going to go the 3-episode rule, and then I was like, ooh, now I want to see what happens at the end of this episode. And then it just kept going and going and going. And then I got to the last episode. It was 5:30 in the morning, and I was like...
Your pillow is soaked.
Yeah, I was
your gamer chair is soaked or whatever.
I was sitting at my desk with my headphones on, and I was just like...
It looked like you were waterboarded.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But anyways, going back to Bocchi the Rock.
No, I mean, I did cry in Angel Beats when I'd watched it the first time. That was during the train sequence. But I didn't...
Oh...
I didn't. That was, and to me, that's still the most saddest part. But I didn't, I didn't ugly cry.
Yeah.
I cried, and it was really sad. And don't get me wrong, I loved Angel Beats that first watch. I loved it, and it was so sad, and it was so good. I didn't ugly cry until I watched, and this is after Clannad, until I watched K-On! Some cute girl sack who started a band. and drink tea and eat cake after school. That poster behind you that nobody can see in the camera because wait, can they see it?
It's like blown out.
Yeah, okay. But that one. Why did I cry, Zach?
Yeah, character development.
Character development, precisely. Which is what I did in Clannad. But Clannad made you cry because of depressing reasons. Which obviously I won't say, because I will, even though, I guess there's this kind of unwritten rule of if a show is old enough, you can spoil it. I will never spoil Clannad because it is something special. And that being said, even if you do get spoiled, you will still fucking lose your mind, because I got spoiled. All the hard points got spoiled for me. I still lost my mind.
See, I know nothing about Clannad.
Exactly.
Like, nothing.
You're not going to get any from me. And then K-On! Is a complete opposite. Mm-hmm. Because you don't cry because of depressing reasons. You cry because it's over.
Oh.
See? And you cry because you're like, don't go.
Yeah.
That was so nice. No, don't go. Don't leave me. I'm going to get this fucking tattooed on somewhere. I don't know. And it's, I wish I can watch K-On! For the first time again. That sounds so dorky and corny, but I it's not even my words. I saw like a comment on it and I was like, that's such a great way to say it, because obviously, I mentioned rewatching, obviously, good idea. I think rewatching, no matter how you feel about it, is a good thing to do. But man, if I can watch K-On! For the first time again, oh my gosh, and have all my senior year stress just wash away, oh my gosh. Everything about K-On! Was just so nice. And it was so long. It was like 2 seasons of 20 plus episodes. And you're like, I hope this doesn't end. I hope this is like a Saturday morning cartoon that just goes on forever like it's Pokemon, even though Pokemon didn't end, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently it ended. Ash is now the champion. Spoiler alert, sorry.
He was the very best, like no one ever was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sora, my buddy Sora said it really well. Yeah, he's 12 years old and he has 25 years of experience. Good for him.
Wait. Wait a minute. How does that chronological?
Doesn't matter, Zach. I mean, Phineas and Ferb was way longer than a summer vacation.
What if they had 104 episodes?
Oh, man. They couldn't. It was too successful. 104 days of summer vacation.
School comes around just to end it.
The annual problem for our generation.
Finding a good way to spend it.
Like that. Oh man, that was good. That was good. Hey, reminding everybody that Ferb really bagged Vanessa. Just want to remind everybody. God damn.
Bro,
my boy Ferb. Back the goth girlfriend. I'm sorry. Our alpha male.
Yeah.
Our role model.
I think the expectation of men should be nothing more than just
than Ferb. Male standard for sure. The double standards of male. The ideal male.
Soft spoken and confident, good with his hands.
British accent.
I mean, we can't really do much about that.
No, that's true.
How did we get here?
Squaredos. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I think it's because of, sorry, that was a weird tangent, but yeah, I was really feeling myself, and then we just broke that. Sorry, I removed the emotional atmosphere of which K-On! Provides.
Yeah.
Which is, you wouldn't think it exists, but it's just such a fun watch. I almost want it because Bocchi the Rock is feeding that K-On! Withdrawal that I had.
Yeah.
But it's in such a modern way. It's hard because, first of all, K-On! Is made by Kyotani. I don't know if I mentioned that.
You have not, actually.
Okay, yeah, it is made by Kyotani. And God, so I think also in like 2011 or some shit like that. And I'm like, God damn, no way was that old. Because the animation is really good. Classic Kyotani, right?
Yeah.
But
bro, they've been doing that shit good for a long time.
Oh yeah. Oh man, when I was watching the show called Nichijou, I didn't realize it was that old either. God damn. Kyotani did that as well, and you wouldn't even think it was 2000 and whatever the fuck. But anyways, the one thing I think about a lot is I really want people to watch K-On! even if it's hard to get them into that genre. However, I found that a lot of people who aren't into this genre like Bocchi the Rock. I'm into more like action, romance, drama, shonen, shoujo, etc., or just this type of show is not my thing, right? And then they watch Bocchi the Rock, and they're like, "Oh shit, I didn't know it was like this." And it kind of is. It's a little different, but not different. It's still reminiscent of what just a bland slice of life should be. It's just a little spicy because Cloverworks fucked the animation like it's a fucking I was gonna cash cow, but that analogy doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah,
but it is making them that damn dough. But goddamn, it's just so fucking good. Like you're gonna watch it and you're like, there is no reason for it to be this good. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I don't mean that in a bad way for the source material. I don't mean any negativity towards it because it's a great concept. That may or may not be overdone, but it's just for some reason it just hits right. It hits right, and it gets you in the heart in a way you wouldn't think so, in a heartwarming way. Yeah, and that's something. I mean, you've experienced heartwarming, but you haven't experienced that being the main trait of the show yet. Where it's like, it's heartwarming and this is how you're going to cry.
Yeah.
This is how you're going to get emotional because it's so warm feeling and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is nice. But it's really good. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to stop talking about it because it's just so good. And it won in a, I think anime trending or whatever, a really popular anime site that I don't know if it's canon or not or whatever, however it operates, but it won best anime.
Oh,
like top one over Chainsaw Man, the most hype anime right now.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's watching Chainsaw Man. It's the Demon Slayer. It's the Jujutsu Kaisen. And to be fair, I'm not saying it's a bad show because I read the manga. I've watched a couple episodes. The animation is incredible, and they delayed a mappa. Yeah, they've delayed this show so heavily just so it can be perfect, and it's really good, and it's really fucking gory, and it's really heavy hitting, and it's really good. And the animation is incredible.
I mean, it's called Chainsaw Man.
It's called Chainsaw Man. If it's not gory, then what the fuck? You know what I mean? Oh man, I don't know if you're gonna watch this. I don't want to. Okay, I won't give the context, so you won't know it's a spoiler. But it's just funny. It's a funny detail. They will not censor anything except vomit.
Really?
Yeah, that's really funny. There's limbs getting cut off, blood sprays and showers and shit like that, and it's incredible. But they pixelated vomit, and I found that really funny.
Why vomit?
It's yucky, Zach.
So is limbs getting cut off.
I found that so funny.
That is really funny, actually.
That's all though. It's down your alley, I would say, because you like that shit. But then again, I know Cam wants you to watch Attack on Titan, and that probably, in a way, okay. I'm gonna say something a little controversial, okay, Zach?
Right, bro.
I am not someone who cares about. My hand might be in your shot this whole time. I apologize.
No, well, wait, are you?
Oh, not really. Actually, my hand is like that. I've enjoyed this spot right here where my arm is just resting against the mic stand, and you can hear it in the mic, and so it's not a good position to be in for mic quality and mic technique. But my arm is gonna stay here because I need to say words right now. I am not one who gives hot take on anime because I think it's a little silly because all it does is it's just you're just fishing for replies and likes and comments and stuff just for internet clout. It's what it is. If you don't like a show, just keep it to yourself because there are people who do like the show. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. Right? Because there are people that do like it, and there's no reason why you should push that opinion on other people. Okay. Now with that preface. I don't feel that strongly about this. I realize I've kind of set the stage really high. No, it's not that big. But that is a good point I'd like to make. If you don't like a show, for whatever reason, it's fine. You don't have to like a show, right? I do like Chainsaw Man, but something about it does not click with me, even though everything about it is spot on.
I mean, you've told me many times that you're not like the gory type, like you don't really like.
I mean, sure, but it's not even that, but it is kind of that. So I haven't watched Attack on Titan, But I've seen clips, and for some odd reason, we were watching the first episode. Kind of like it was just playing on the TV in a Thanksgiving party at my cousin's house. And we just had it on because fucking why not? We were all the kids were like upstairs, and I was there too. And I was like, then they put on Attack on Titan. I was in a position in the room where I couldn't see the TV, so I didn't really watch it. But I mean, I know a lot about Attack on Titan. I see a lot about it at this point after being in the Twitter a lot, right? Or in the anime space, right? So I obviously know about it. And I would say it's probably equally as gory. But why does it hit harder? So do you know much about Attack on Titan, like at all?
Not much,
Right.
no.
Okay. I mean, I can't spoil anything because I don't know anything. I don't even know any spoiled points. I just know that it's set more on kind of I don't want to say medieval. That's not the right word, but you can kind of imagine that time frame in your mind, right? Whereas Chainsaw Man is more modern. And in Attack on Titan, they live off of that fear of those Titans just being this incredible power, can't do anything about it, like type force that just instills genuine fear onto people. Like, and I can self-insert myself into like that kind of city, that town, that village or whatever within the walls that are protecting them from the Titans. And I can feel that, you know, the fear against them, the distrust against my comrades, things like that, right?
Yeah.
I can feel that in Attack on Titan. Not that I've watched a lot, but you know, from the little I've seen, somehow that connects with me more, and I feel that feels more real,
Right.
ironically, than Chainsaw Man.
I mean, it really is hard to compare shows, like even when they're within the same genre, just because there are a lot of different storytelling elements that can drastically change not only the tone of the show, but also how the idea of the story is portrayed.
Sure.
And so in the example of Attack on Titan versus Chainsaw Man, you know, like you were saying, the environment is different. There's a different kind of underlying tension of, like, in Attack on Titan, they're like, oh God, our world could potentially end at any point from Titans that just kind of walk up and stomp our shit and eat people.
Yeah, but you can see the same thing about Chainsaw Man with the devils and stuff. So it's like fundamentally they're basically the same. They're both really gory shonens.
Right.
That is based on kind of this post-apocalyptic world. But something about Attack on Titan just makes it feel more, I don't know. I do enjoy Chainsaw Man, don't get me wrong. I'm reading the manga. But something about it is just not the same.
Right.
I just don't know what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be very well down to one is just not my thing and the other isn't, right? And I keep wanting to say this because I need to preface this. I do like Chainsaw Man, and I haven't seen Attack on Titan. But something about that, maybe it's just because, I don't know, it's more fantical. Like, obviously, demons and devils floating around and a guy turning into a chainsaw isn't quite real, bound to reality. But something about it, I guess maybe it's because it feels more modern, where this Attack on Titan feels like it's in some sort of past that I don't know about. I think we'd mentioned this like sometime long ago when, I was gonna say fiction makes sense, but I mean, we already know about that. But fiction that is placed in I guess that fiction that does make sense, placed into a time and a time zone. What the fuck did I just say? Not a timeline, but like a time zone that could have existed.
Yeah.
Because it's in the past. It's in a distant past that you and I don't know about. So it could have, because why the fuck not? Where Chainsaw Man is based on like modern Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where obviously that shit's not well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it's not obviously happening.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it.
I mean, yeah, when you think about just the way that the environment is designed, it can really affect how the story is portrayed. Like when you think about, you know, Demon Slayer, like you think of like more so modern, but not quite like today modern. You know, you think of like the 1800s of like, you know, industrial revolution, you know, all of that kind of stuff like that. That's kind of what comes to mind. And then when you think of a show like Violet Evergarden, you know, you think of like the 16th century and like the
well, like a post World War type vibe.
Yeah. Oh God. What am I trying to think of?
I think you made a flip-flop them around, Demon
Wait.
Slayer and Violet Evergarden.
Did I?
I
No.
think so. Well, I mean, I think they're both kind of representative of like an industrial revolution in the same era.
I don't know. Anyways, the time that the story is set in can drastically change the way that the story is told.
Sure. I think that's what it was. It was Violet Evergarden that we mentioned that, where it's like, yeah, it could have happened because it feels like it was just in like part of our history.
Yeah.
Because it was based on like kind of that industrial revolution era.
Yeah.
That post World War era. Kinda. Well, it was based on it. So I was like, I mean, this could have happened.
Or this could have been, after the Civil War.
Shit, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, just that idea that you can really play around with what reality actually looked like during that period of time, and just kind of turn it into something of your own. Like that's
I guess so. I think
really cool.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, that guy.
Oh, that guy.
That guy, right? The guy who defamed Pluto. I will never forgive him. I'm just kidding. I don't really care that much. But
What the fuck, man?
what the fuck, man? How could you do that to our planet?
This is why we can't have nice things.
And Pluto.
I mean, Pluto's still there.
Hey, it's still there. It's just now a dwarf or whatever. I don't remember. Dwarf planet. Not a planet. A star. Not a star.
I don't know.
He mentioned, it wasn't his words. It was a quote from someone else, but I'm forgetting. I apologize. But he has a really good point that I love. And it's, first get your facts straight, then distort it.
Yeah.
Which is what he loves about, I think he was talking about Simpsons or something like that. No. It was, I believe, The Martian, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I can't remember what movie he was talking about. He was talking about something, I think it was in Hot Ones, a show with hot questions and even hotter wings by Sean Evans. Today we have Zach Phillips. I think it was that episode where he was just talking about like fiction and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And how he was like, it's fine to make, the idea of fiction is that obvious, it's not real. Like that's the point of it. It's fake. But it feels more grounded when, like we said, when fiction makes sense, when fiction has its rules and stuff, where I think he was talking about how The Martian had so many right because they paid attention to, or it was Interstellar? I don't remember. It was some sort of space movie where
I feel like it was Interstellar, actually.
maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. But he was just talking about how, it's a tale of fiction, but they had so many things right that they were able to use those to derive fiction from. So it wasn't just completely out of the blue,
Yeah.
right? So first get your facts straight, then distort it, right? And I think that's kind of why we enjoy the fiction shows that make sense, such as No Game, No Life, which obviously doesn't, like, that's not a thing. It's an alternate universe and everything is like plus 20 saturation. No, plus 50 saturation. Plus 100. Fuck it, dude. Things like that. But it still felt like it could be a feasible world that could exist because there's the rule sets and things happened and it works and kinda, sorta, right?
And kind of, sort of.
And kinda, sorta, right?
Yeah.
And Attack on Titan, Violet Evergarden, it kind of feels like it could exist, right? Chainsaw Man, I just have it's hard to create that suspension of belief.
Yeah, I think another thing too is, when you think of like very gory times in human history, you almost always think of the past.
For sure.
And so it's kind
Just
of
another day where we're guillotining a guy,
Yeah.
Just go down the road with my kids. Oh, look at that guy, head chopped off.
Oh, look at that. There's a bunch of pirates hanging. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Oh, another woman has fallen to the river. Or thrown
She
into the
can't
river. She can't swim. Guess it's not a witch. Oh well.
Salem witch.
That was a thing.
That was probably the funniest clip
Hey,
that
that
I
was
found.
pretty funny. That was good.
But yeah, just that ability to suspend your belief, or like,
I think that's the phrase I'm looking for, right? That's a phrase, right? I've heard it be said.
Yeah.
Suspension of belief or something like that.
Yeah.
I think. Probably. I don't know.
Sounded like
When
you're
I-
about to do
when-
some sick beatboxing, dog.
Lose yourself. No. How many times are you going to say Eminem, lose yourself? Listen. Marvel movies. We all know it's a bunch of CG characters, CG, like full CG persons, full CG people, guys in suits in a green screen or in a blue screen studio. We all know that. But why did we still feel so emotionally invested in Infinity War and Endgame?
I think it was a combination of a couple different things. The world building was very
Right.
very well done, and also the idea of stakes. And I think we've talked about this a bunch of times before. Like, if there are actual stakes at play, and I can't remember what show. I think it was Jujutsu Kaisen that you were talking about, where like the first little bit you're kind of like,
Oh,
meh,
yeah.
you know, like meh.
Super fucking boring. I apologize. The fights were cool, but I was so fucking... Oh, God. I was so fucking bored.
Yeah. So
Oh, I apologize.
God,
The demons are exiting me.
Demon Slayer. Yeah, but when you have those actual stakes and you,
Da, 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 da.
is that the season 2 opening?
It is. Good eye, mate.
Yes.
Us. I think we should start... I'm going to start drinking coffee, so I stop burping. All right, no more of this, Zach.
All right, fine. I'm still gonna buy Monsters though for me. But yeah, the idea of when you're able to get other people invested into the story that you're trying to tell, you know what I mean? Like the ability to captivate people's attention and get them involved and invested into what's going on. I think that's probably where all of the good things happen, and that's why, you know, you can retain people's attention for so long. Hence the reason why I could binge watch Angel Beats for
Right, exactly.
5 hours.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even a Marvel guy. I enjoy Marvel movies, of course, right? But I enjoy them as movies because I'm not like a comic book fan, a Marvel fan. You know, I mean, I like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's cool. I grew up with him. But as far as like superheroes go, I wasn't really a superhero guy. I was a Naruto kid. So, but as far as Marvel movies go, and DC movies for that matter, but just let's say for Marvel for this example, because I brought them up, I like them as movies. Like if they were standalone movies, would I enjoy it? Right? I don't have that connection. Like obviously I've watched the Easter egg videos from like New Rockstar and those type of channels, by the way, you know, and they're cool. And they're really interesting.
Always be plugging.
Of course. Well, not mine, but plugging other people. Hey.
Yeah.
But they're really nice to watch, even though I don't really understand much. The way I enjoy the little Easter eggs and the you know, the connections with the comic books, whether I understand them or not. I enjoy watching them. But I barely watch movies in general. I'm not a movie guy, although I do enjoy movies. I don't really go out to watch a lot of movies. I don't watch movies, you know, through Netflix or whatever the fuck. I don't do that a lot. Is it because I watch anime these days? I don't know. But my family, we never really went out to watch movies a lot growing up. Was it too expensive? I don't know. But we fuck around with that $5 Tuesdays in the Regal or whatever the fuck. That's pretty good. But we just didn't do it a lot. So I don't have that connection with like the comic books and the superheroes to this whole MCU thing. And I've only watched like, I watched all the Iron Mans. I watched the first and the second Thor. I watched the first 2 Hulks, and then to my understanding, the second Hulk was part of MCU. And shit, I guess that's it. Well, at least in the past time, I guess.
Yeah.
And then present time, I watched Black Panther, both of them now, which is really good. And what else? Shang-Chi. That's about it. So I haven't watched all the Captain America Winter Soldier stuff, which is really pertinent to the Avengers because it's Cap, right? But I haven't watched them. I was still able to enjoy like Civil War and enjoy like whatever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Infinity War and all that, because they were able to, even as someone who didn't watch them, I was still able to get into this world that they presented to me because of, like you said, the stakes.
Yeah.
And, wanting that payoff to pay off, right? And, getting blue balls for Infinity War because we wanted that payoff and it didn't happen. And instead we were left with sadness.
And depression.
Right. Like the current Wakanda Forever. I'm not gonna spoil it. Don't worry. I'm not gonna go freak it. I'm not gonna say much, but I liked it a lot. I mean, my buddy Christian, he was like, it was pretty good to the comic, but like he wasn't too stoked on their representation of the comic books. But as a movie, we both said, yeah, it was a really good movie because it did what it did really. It did really well with, of course, the passing of Chadwick Boseman, how they're going to portray that, what's going to happen next. And, they did it in a really respectful way. And they did it in a way where I was still in the theater and I was able to put myself in this world. Right. And that's a good thing. Even though I know, yes, there's just a bunch of, CG characters and in a blue screen studio. Right. I know this.
Yeah.
I've watched the quarter digitals, Zach. Facts. I get it,
Yeah.
But I'm still able to enjoy it.
But that, all of like the CG and the visual effects and the VFX and all of that kind of stuff, all of that stuff aside, it all just kind of boils down to the storytelling.
Right.
And you and I have talked about this God knows how many times, but when you're able to tell a convincing story and get people emotionally invested and involved into the story that you're trying to tell, you've already won. Like that's kind of the end goal. You're always trying to get people captivated in the things that you're trying to show them. And the MCU, I think they did a really, really good job of building, like, the original Avengers and then, just adding more and more and more. And then it just turned into this massive thing where everyone had one goal in common. And it was to beat Thanos.
Thanos car. Yeah.
Thanos car. I am still kind of sad that they didn't end up doing the Ant-Man thing.
Yeah, I know. I think everybody wanted it, but
that would have been so fucking funny.
It would have been really great. But then again, is that really the ending we wanted?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
But they ended up taking all of these things and since they had so many characters on screen and, there were so many things happening at one time, the fact that they were able to convincingly portray the relationships that all these characters had with each other, like that's impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, even characters I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was like, this is cool. And Zach, that was just one huge CG fight. That was just a game. That was a video game cutscene, Zach.
Yeah. That
whole sequence. And it was really good.
the cinematics for the next Street Fighter game.
Literally. I think that's why this exact thing, this idea of storytelling is why you're going to like Boji the Rock, the best anime of the season. No, Boji the Rock, because it's that thing where you don't really think there's going to be this big story, but the big story exists. Right. And it just unfolds itself, or it unfolds itself as you continue watching this, this life, as you follow Bochi-chan, which is just like a really introverted, shy girl who's overly introverted. And, it's really funny. And you basically follow her around, and it's kind of like Violet Evergarden in the way that you kind of see everybody else's story as you follow her. Right. And that's what's fun about it. And it's just I don't know. It's just so good. I'm just a broken record right now. Just saying, watch Butchie or watch Butchie the Rock, watch Butchie the Rock. But every single episode comes out and it's like, okay. So the current episode that just came out, by the time you watch this, it would have been a couple episodes by now, but episode 8. By this time, there's been 3 back-to-back performances. Like 3 back-to-back performance episodes. And that's scary to do because in a music anime, you would consider the performances to be that payoff. So it would usually just be in that 3-episode interval, right? Or something like that, where there's character development, story, and performance. And then character, story, drama, romance, whatever. performance.
Yeah.
And then, that cycle. But there's basically 3 back-to-back performances at this point. Like episode 5, 6, 7, or 6, 7, 8, whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. And you're like, huh, are we really going to enjoy this? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because they're just kind of, it's like you're having the main dish 3 times in a row. You know what I mean? Which could be a good or a bad thing, but it's still good. But
it still tastes pretty fucking good.
It's still pretty fucking good. Okay, but you're having it. Okay, then 3 times in a row, but that's within 3 days. If you had steak on Monday, steak Tuesday, steak Wednesday. The same way, the same restaurant, the same dish, and it's still good. But was it as good as the first time? Was it as good as the second time?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Exactly. So the thing I found really interesting about it is that, oh man, it's not really a spoiler, but because it's really hard to spoil Bocce the Rock because it's just kind of whatever. And you'll enjoy the journey rather than the destination because that's what this type of a show is. But in the recent episode, I just throw a spoiler warning, I guess, if that matters, but I think you'll still enjoy it anyways. They do two songs. The first song is kind of a flop. And that's because of things that happened leading up to that to this performance, right? And I won't say that, but it's kind of a flop, and everyone's like out of sync and stuff, and the audience isn't really enjoying it. They're getting bored and stuff, And then the second song comes on, and it's their new song, and then Bocce does a thing where she just she does something that fires everybody up and gets everybody back into the mood, and you're like, oh my gosh, it was just this big this build up to this payoff point. Mm-hmm. And so basically what I'm saying is they're just finding ways to make it more to make you earn it every single time.
Yeah.
To make you if they just did performance, then this is it's good and it's like great animation stuff and it's fantastic, but it's like basically what I'm watching at Mob Psycho. It's just crazy animation and crazy fights, and it's awesome, and I'm enjoying it. But what am I really, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. What am I really obtaining from it? That being said, it's still a great show, but I'm not really earning these fight scenes, right? I'm not earning this crazy animation. They're just giving it to me. Thanks, dog. I appreciate it, but I'm not earning it.
Yeah.
With Bocce the Rock, it's back-to-back performances, but you're still earning it, and they're giving you ways to earn it. And that's what you'll find, and that's why, even if I'd say how a performance goes, it doesn't spoil anything. Because the spoiling points is the points leading up to the performances.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because you would consider the performances to be the point B, if you will, right? From point A to point B. Which is why I say the important part in these slice of life things are the story that unfolds after that point A, the adventures that happen at point A. Yeah. I know that was really long-winded, but and maybe I'll show you a clip of that performance so you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. But God, it was so good.
Or I could just watch the show.
Or you can just watch the show. I don't know. I just feel bad because I'm like shoving it down your throat, like, watch the fucking show, Zach. And I don't want to do that to you if you don't want to.
Well, I mean, you talk about it, you show enthusiasm about it, and then I go look into it on my own. That's how it was with Violet Evergarden. For sure.
And
Angel Beats. And Origaru.
And
Bunny Girl Senpai.
Oh, well, I mean, you didn't watch those on your own.
I watched Violet Evergarden.
Yeah, exactly. But not Origaru and Violet Evergarden. But yeah, I think it's okay, I'll stop. No, I'm not going to say that because I know I'm going to keep talking about it. But for this episode, at least, whether we want to end it or not, or keep talking about it, I don't know. But I'll stop talking about Bocce the Rock for this episode. But just know that even if you're not really into that genre, I think you'll still get something out of it. I think it's worth a watch. As the number one anime of the season right now. Over Chainsaw Man and Spy Family, the two biggest IPs right now. And Bocce the Rock comes out of nowhere. And nobody fucking knows about it. Well, I mean, that sounds rude to the source material, but compared to Chainsaw Man and Spy Family, one of the two biggest manga in Japan, yeah. Here, maybe, yeah. No, Bocce the Rock was the underdog, the sleeper.
Yeah, it's like having a semi-truck engine in a Toyota Corolla.
Exactly.
Like you don't know what's gonna happen.
You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know, man. I
think the coolest times, or like the coolest experiences that you have, regardless of if it's watching a show or going out and doing something, are the ones that you don't really have high expectations for.
Sure.
they're realistic, but they're not necessarily drastically disproportionate to what it's actually going to be. And, you know, I just think about the time when you and I went and did laser tag with my brother and one of his friends, and that shit was so much fun.
It was, yes.
Like I had absolutely no idea what was going to happen, and then it turned out to be just an absolutely killer time. And so, you know, just kind of like, that's why I like going into shows pretty blind. Like, you know, I've seen the performances of Bocchi the Rock, but that's pretty much all I know is the performances and everything like that. And that's kind of how it is with like Attack on Titan, Attack on Titan, you know, Jujutsu Kaisen, you know, like all of the shows that I've been talking about watching that I need to watch.
It's okay. It's all good. It's just normal anime things. Say I'm going to watch it and you don't watch it for a while. It's all good.
Yeah.
Normal anime things. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's just kind of that idea of not setting your expectations too high and just being okay with like being surprised. Like, you know, there are certain shows like Violet Evergarden where you talk about like, oh dude, this show's fucking fantastic. And then I watch it and I'm like, yup, that's pretty fucking good.
Pretty fucking good though.
You know, and so that kind of idea of did I
oh no, I was no, just for a bit I was like, you're on my camera. It's all good. It's all good.
Whoops, my bad.
Tuki. Audio listeners don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
But it's fine. But yeah, that idea of just kind of like going along for the ride and just being super excited about it, like that, I think that's way more fun than like doing a ton of research on the show and like, you know, reading all the Yelp reviews.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, whenever I mean, unless I read the manga prior, I also do the same thing. And I mean, I just kind of, what do? I just usually just watch the anime as soon as it airs because I've been getting into seasonals, like I said. And for Bocchi the Rock as well, I see the PV of it, or the trailer for it, I guess, the promotional videos, the PV, right?
Yeah.
And I seen it like so long ago, and I was like, this is cool. Like the animation is really cool. The characters are cool. It's kind of like K-On! Like it's my shit. I bet I would love this. And that's basically the most I'll do. I wouldn't. Sometimes I may read the manga, maybe like a couple chapters or something. But otherwise, yeah, I'm also just going in blind because I do agree that's the fun part. And that's kind of like how I've been enjoying the Avengers movies because I don't really know a whole lot about this hero's part of it other than like Tony Stank and, you know,
Captain America,
right, and Spooderman, right. That's about it, really.
Yeah.
But it's I can still jump into it, and if it's a good movie, then I should still be able to watch it and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Whether I watch or read the source material or not, right? It shouldn't that shouldn't be the basis of a good movie. It should just add to it, you know? Yeah. So yeah. Watch Bocchi the Rock, everybody. Just do it. Just trust me. Just do it. Like I don't mean to overhype it. I'm not even trying to overhype it. I'm just saying, just watch it. Don't go in with no expectation.
Yeah.
Even though I've said so many things, don't take my word for it because I'm just an Asian kid wearing glasses talking to a microphone.
Yeah.
Who the fuck cares what I think? It's about what you think. So go ahead and watch it. Give it a go. Just give it like an episode, maybe 2 episodes. 2 episode max. 2 episodes, everybody. 2 episodes. That's it. 2. That's it. You're not even at the performance yet. Just watch 2 episodes. And I think you'll like it a lot. Just because, you know, there's a little something for everybody. So that's all. Thank you for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Check out all the stuff in the description. You guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button. We have our links in the description. There's a coffee Patreon if it's ready. See how fast I did that, Zach?
I did.
Bam.
All right.
I'm a natural.
All right, let's do this. Okay, so for videos, which are going to be popping up right here, I think the Love Letter to Anime, that's a really, really good episode. And then let's do the season 2 of Demon Slayer.
Ooh.
Let's do that episode. That one's super fun.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And we will see you soon.
Bye.